Welcome back to our channel, everyone. I hope that everyone has a day filled with the grace of Christ. We hope you like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can stay up to date on the latest information. Come along on a journey with us and see this movie through to the end. Pope Francis recently shared an urgent message from the Virgin Mary, alerting him to the difficult and dreadful circumstances mankind faces. The Pope recounted an intimate and personal experience with the Virgin Mary in a vision. She had on a glowing white robe, a beautiful veil over her face, and a crown gleaming on her head. In this vision, the Virgin stood over a planet engulfed in thick black smoke, a powerful and terrifying symbol of the growing spiritual gloom and suffering that humanity is currently going through. The Virgin's vision serves as a sobering reminder to everyone to consider their options and take immediate action, to seek out Christ's light in the dark, and to hold on to hope when times are difficult. The Pope's message is clear. As evil attempts to take over the world, there is an urgent need for prayer, devotion, and a renewed commitment to the Church's sacraments. According to the Pope, people can find the strength to withstand future challenges and maintain the light of faith even as darkness encroaches, alluding to these acts of faith. In this context, he called on priests to be instrumental in guiding the souls of the faithful to Jesus Christ and encourage believers to pray not just for their own needs, but also for the Church and its clergy. Pope Francis warned that mankind is set to face a tremendous difficulty that will test faith to the fullest degree. The powers of evil will try to prevail, creating a scenario in which the specters of doubt and bad luck could endanger the flame of faith. The Pope did, however, convey a message of hope that is in line with the teachings of the Virgin Mary in spite of this gloomy outlook. He reminded the faithful that Christ's presence in the Eucharist provides spiritual strength and safety for all believers. When people approach the altar to seek for divine grace, courage, and endurance, the Holy Eucharist is a powerful call. Pope Francis stressed that even in the midst of seemingly insurmountable challenges, going to the altar and sharing in the Holy Sacrament of the Eucharist can offer consolation and strength. He urged Catholics to make the Eucharistic communion a cornerstone of their spiritual lives, since it not only restores Christians, but also fortifies them to face future difficulties. Pope Francis stressed the importance of the Eucharist and called for a renewed sense of hope, assuring the faithful that they are never alone in their spiritual struggles. The maternal love and guidance of the Virgin Mary, who continues to intercede on behalf of her children, might give believers the strength to endure. A key component of the teaching of Christ is the Eucharist, which reminds us of God's promise of salvation and endless love. When the faithful come together in prayer and adoration, they discover a way to face adversity with courage and confidence, knowing that divine grace would not abandon them. Pope Francis encouraged everyone who want to return to the Church to do so, acknowledging that many individuals had strayed from the straight and narrow. He informed them that the Church is still a mother who is prepared to embrace her children when they return, despite acknowledging that some individuals have walked away from its teachings and the love of Christ. The Pope emphasized the significance of the sacraments, particularly the Eucharist and confession, in order to ask for forgiveness and experience spiritual renewal. Through these sacraments, believers can restore their relationship with God and make atonement. During a time of deep reflection, Pope Francis also recounted a vision in which he saw the Virgin Mary in St. Peter's Basilica, surrounded by sinister black smoke. This artwork represents the faults and misconceptions that corrupt sincere faith and lead many people away from the path of redemption. However, Pope Francis comforted them, stating that the robe of the Virgin Mary is a powerful barrier that protects the Church from anybody who would harm it. He called on the faithful to unite in prayer, trusting in the intercession of the Virgin Mary, and actively supporting the work of the Church. By highlighting the Rosary's potent spiritual weaponry against demonic forces, the Pope encouraged daily recitation of the Rosary as a means of strengthening faith and spreading the Gospel. He explained that reciting the Rosary is more than just a prayer. It is an act of reflection on the sacred mysteries of Christ's life, death, and resurrection. This devotion offers the faithful comfort and courage, as well as a deeper comprehension of the secrets of God. Pope Francis believes that by reciting the Rosary every day, which has long been a source of strength and inspiration inside the Church, Catholics can transform their spiritual lives and bring peace to a troubled world. Pope Francis made it clear that the Rosary is more than just a tradition. It is a vital part of the Church's spiritual heritage. By maintaining this commitment, Catholics can sustain a spiritual discipline that has endured through centuries of adversity. The Pope encouraged all believers to make reciting the Rosary a regular part of their devotional routine, believing it may lead to profound spiritual growth and provide protection during difficult times. The message from Pope Francis is one of hope rather than compliance. Instead, he exhorted the faithful to be active all the time, becoming beacons of hope and agents of change. He emphasized that an active faith must include deeds of justice, charity, and neighborly love. While prayer is important, it should be paired with a dedication to Christian values and a life of service. The Holy Father asserts that if the faithful unite in prayer and action, they can face today's issues with confidence and hope. He reminded them that despite the overpowering appearance of evil, faith and the recitation of the Rosary can overcome any adversity. This call to action encourages Catholics who hold fast to the idea that Mary's protection and intercession never change to keep up their spiritual life. Pope Francis underlined the importance of having a unified church community. He called on Catholics to support one another in order to foster an environment where the faithful can unite in the face of practical and spiritual hardship. The Holy Father asserts that the Church's unity is essential to its mission, to spread the gospel and illuminate the world with Christ. By coming together as a community, Catholics may present a more formidable front against forces that seek to erode the religion. In his address, Pope Francis emphasized how the intercession of the Virgin Mary is a continual source of courage and comfort. As the Virgin Mary never stops praying for her children, he exhorted Catholics to believe in the power of prayer and in her unselfish love. The Pope hopes that by sending out this message of hope and encouragement, the faithful will be inspired to live out their faith with confidence, knowing that with God's support, they can overcome any challenge and spread the gospel to those in need. In order to achieve grace and strength, the Church provides the faithful sacraments, holy texts, and the communion of believers as spiritual fortresses against evil. Pope Francis concluded his address with a heartfelt exhortation that was echoed by the Virgin Mary. "My children, I ask you, do not stray from me. Pay attention to me." This proclamation is a call to cling to Christ and the Church through difficult times. It highlights that true hope and redemption can only be found in a relationship with Christ. Citing the intercession of the Holy Trinity and the Virgin Mary, Pope Francis urged the faithful to join him in prayer and devotion. He asked the Mother of Grace to guide everyone through life's challenges, draw them closer to Christ, and surround them with love and compassion. Pope Francis reiterated the significance of the sacraments, highlighting the Eucharist in particular, which he defined as essential sustenance for the soul. The Pope prayed for the courage to fervently follow Christ, to share his way, and to act as his representatives in a world in need of direction and purpose. He also emphasized confession as a path to regeneration and a return to the loving embrace of God. he encouraged Catholics to participate fully in the Church's sacramental life, finding strength in the Eucharist and refreshment in reconciliation. In order to be a source of hope and a witness of God's love, the Pope concluded by begging God to continue guiding and protecting his people. In closing, he urged the faithful to join in prayer and led them in reciting the Hail Mary, a prayer that petitions the Virgin for strength, grace, and protection. In this powerful speech, Pope Francis exhorts Christians to be living models of the gospel, dedicated to spreading the grace of Christ and illuminating a world in need. In order to believe that God can overcome adversity and spread his love throughout the world, the Pope exhorted everyone to continue their devotion to the Virgin Mary and the Rosary. Thank you for coming along on this journey with me. Your presence and participation have made this study compelling and important. Until the next time, may the stories we have shared about the human condition inspire and encourage you.